I don't think I ever want to work for anyone again. I've done that. But I'm not working for Elon Musk. He hasn't offered to hire me, and if he did, I wouldn't accept. What he's done is offered me what he's offered every other user of Twitter, which is a chance to broadcast your views without a gatekeeper there.
Folks, I think we just witnessed one of the biggest interviews of this year. What's up, guys? Vince Dow here. And today, Tucker Carlson sat down for his first ever formal interview since being let go by Fox News amidst all that controversy. Because how dare Tucker Carlson tell the truth and be a conservative on an allegedly conservative network, right? We all know by this point we love Tucker Carlson, but today he sat down with Russell Brand on Rumble for the first ever interview. You know, the bombshell, hey, what's going on? How you been? And I encourage you to go watch the full thing. It's about an hour and a half, but today we want to give you some of the brief highlights, run down the short version, right? All the analysis here. So in this interview, Tucker answered some key questions like, he kind of hinted a little bit with what happened at Fox News. Obviously, there's only so much he can say, but specifically, why did he choose to do his new show on Twitter? Because I think people were expecting, are you going to start a YouTube channel? Are you going to sign with a new network? He actually did something that, as you may know, no one really major in conservative news has done yet, which is let me do my show on Twitter. So he's going to explain his relationship with Elon Musk. And then also in the second clip we're going to react to here, and this is probably the more interesting one, Tucker explains his views on Trump, right? Where he actually stands in the Republican primary, because we haven't really gotten an opinion on that so far. So we're going to react to that second. But first of all, here is him explaining why he chose to launch his new show on Twitter. Shout out to ALX for this clip, by the way. But here you go. Here's him explaining it.
We were all amongst us thinking, where will Tucker go? Is it going to be Tucker? Will he be joining us on Rumble? Will you set up your own thing? What was it about your conversations with Elon Musk that led you to work there on Twitter?
Well, I don't work for Elon. He's paid me zero money. I don't think I ever want to work for anyone again. I've done that. I'd like to make money. I mean, I think that's fair. I've made zero money since I left, and that's fine. But at some point I'd like to, but I'm not working for Elon Musk. He hasn't offered to hire me, and if he did, I wouldn't accept. But what he's done is offered me what he's offered every other user of Twitter, which is a chance to broadcast your views without a gatekeeper there.
So I think that's an interesting statement. Tucker Carlson declares he will never work for anyone ever again. So he's not going to sign with another network either. And that's very interesting. And by the way, I think that's very good, right? Tucker Carlson does not need any network. He's bigger, frankly, than any network out there, okay? He never needed Fox News. Fox News needed him. And I think when you look at the new ratings in that 8 p.m. slot and how that company is doing financially since, yeah, I think we basically get it. We basically understand that. But yeah, he's saying no one's going to muzzle me. Here I am. I'm going to do my own thing from now on. I think he should do that. We've also heard some rumors, I don't know if you guys have seen these headlines, that Tucker might actually be starting his own media company, which I think is a great thing. I think we need something like that. We need more competition to Fox News. I know we have some out there, which is good. We got Daily Wire, stuff like that, but we need more. We need a lot more infrastructure there because Fox News, dead network. They've gone totally neocon. They're basically a center-left network at this point, I would argue, with the exception of a few hosts. So, total really destruction for the right at this point. So I think that's a great thing. I hope those rumors are true. And, Tucker, I'd be happy to work for your media company. Just kidding. But no, for sure. I think that's a great idea. So,
but I do think, I think the technology at Twitter is, my expectation, is evolving. And I think, the subscription model, might work or it might not, I don't know, but I think it might. And I plan to stay there. But what social media offer in the short term, at least for me, is an audience, but also a reason, this is personal, but a reason to write.
Other thing about social media, the other point I would bring up is not only does it provide him an audience, it actually provides him a much wider audience. And this is why I said, whatever Tucker does, don't go to another TV network, right? Go to the internet, because as you've seen from the views on his show, that first show on Twitter got like 120 million views. And it's very funny because I saw this liberal trying to hate on him the other day saying, Tucker's first show got 120 million, but now he's only getting like 3 or 4 million. Yeah, 3 or 4 million beats anything in the primetime cable news slot, dingus. And also the thing about social media is that unlike TV, you don't have to be sitting down the very moment it's happening to watch it, right? TV is live. Social media, you can go watch the next day, the hour after, whenever you have time, and those views keep accumulating. So your reach is actually bigger on social media if you do it right than TV news. And I would make the argument, especially in 2023. Maybe it was not like this when Bill O'Reilly left Fox News, but nowadays it is. I genuinely think the internet is more influential than cable news. More people are on the internet, frankly, in my opinion, than watch TV these days. And even if there's less, again, what I said about you can rewatch things later, which you can't do on TV necessarily. I get it. You can hit record. How many people have a DVR these days? Come on, let's be real. The real way we see stuff now is the clips get shared. YouTube, Twitter, places like that. And Tucker Carlson, as you're seeing from the views on every single show, he's destroying Fox News. He does not need Fox News. Fox News needed him. And, I guess rest in piss Fox News, huh? But anyways, there is him explaining the Twitter decision. That's one of the big clips from this interview. Secondly, we're going to get into the spicy stuff here. So here's him discussing his opinions on Donald Trump and the 2024 Republican primary. So this is from the Columbia Bugle, who clipped this here, saying, he goes on to say, I think looking back on this 10 years from now, assuming we're still around, we're going to see Trump's emergence as the most significant thing that happened in American politics in 100 years, because he reoriented the Republican Party against the wishes of Republican leaders, which I 100% agree with. And obviously that is true. And then he goes on to basically say that what he likes about Trump is he's the only person to really tell the truth and have a reasonable opinion on the Ukraine issue, which is another thing that's interesting. So let's sit down and react to this clip next here, shall we? Here we go. Here's Tucker Carlson on Trump.
I think looking back on this 10 years from now, assuming we're still around, I think we're going to see Trump's emergence as the most significant thing to happen in American politics in 100 years, because he reoriented the Republican Party against the wishes of Republican leaders. But when I think about Trump right now, so it's July of 2023, I'm struck by his foreign policy views. Trump is the only person with stature in the Republican Party, really, who's saying, wait a second, why are we supporting an endless war in Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
And that,
I agree.
Leaving aside whether Trump's going to get the nomination or get elected president or would be a good president, I can't even assess that. All I can say at this point is I'm so grateful that he has that position. He's right. And everyone in Washington's wrong. Everyone.
True.
Mm-hmm. And Trump is right on that question. And it's a big question. That war is reshaping the world. It's reshaping the economy of the world.
Yep.
It's reshaping populations. I was just in Romania last week, which is, of course, shares a border with Ukraine. The refugees in that region, the number of people killed in that war, Europe will never be the same because of this war. And it really matters. And Trump alone among popular figures in both parties understands that, and I'm grateful for it. Whether he gets the nomination or gets elected, words really matter. Saying something true out loud matters. And he is saying true things about Ukraine, and God bless him. That's how I feel.
He's saying true things about Ukraine. He reoriented the Republican Party. God bless him. So there's two reasons why that's significant. First and foremost is because, as you guys may remember, they've been trying to create this rift between Tucker and Trump, because in the Fox News lawsuit and all that, there were these text messages of Tucker Carlson right after January 6th, basically lambasting Trump. I don't like him, all of that stuff. And, 2-3 years later, the left tried to take that to say, look, there's a divide between Tucker and Trump, even though months after that, Tucker was hanging out with Trump. You've never heard Tucker, go out and I don't avow Trump and all that stuff. But they took these private text messages after a very significant and obviously crazy event where he was just not happy and maybe exaggerating, maybe talking out of turn a little bit, and they used that to, Tucker Carlson doesn't like Trump. See, even Tucker turned on Trump, and I always thought that was nonsense. I never bought into that because, first of all, if you were to go through everyone's private text messages, let me just say, if they ever go through my text messages, you will find text messages of me privately being angry at something Trump did. Everyone does that. It doesn't mean I don't support him or Tucker doesn't like him or whatever it is. It just means, yeah, I mean, privately, we don't agree with everything someone does. But the divide they tried to create there was totally dishonest, in my opinion. Oh, Tucker secretly is very anti-Trump because he was mad at Trump after, you know, the 6th, right? Which, say what you will about that, but I never bought into that. I always looked at those text messages and thought that was just a instant anger thing. We'll forgive it. It is what it is. It doesn't make Tucker not on our side or not on Trump's side or whatever. And I think listening to that soundbite, you kind of get the confirmation on where he really stands. He doesn't stand with the random angry text messages he sent 2 years ago that were meant to be private messages. There's his public stance. That's how he really feels about it. So there's number one. You know, Tucker, I don't think will ever go out and endorse anyone from the primary because I think he's trying to kind of stay neutral as a commentator, but it's pretty clear where he stands. It's pretty clear, in my opinion, who he seems to favor in that race. So that's number one. Number two, though, the take on Ukraine itself. Absolutely right, and that's something that nobody brings up in this conversation. You have liberals that are gung-ho obsessed with, you know, we got to own Vladimir Putin, and even a large share of the Republican Party, right? Lindsey Graham went out there today, and I kid you not, straight up said that Ukraine should be a part of NATO, and he's introducing a legislation to have Ukraine join NATO, which is absolutely insane. By the way, that's part of what incited this conflict to begin with, is Russian fears over that. But what he's basically saying is we need to enter in a nuclear defense pact in the name of Ukraine. So in other words, if Russia were to invade Ukraine, it would be our obligation to go to war directly with Russia, and we know how that would end, right? Absolutely insane, absolutely unhinged, because nobody has any basic considerations in this conflict for common sense or rationality, and certainly not human life, right? It's all, Vladimir Putin is the worst guy ever, and we need to burn down the whole world if it means, you know, owning Vladimir Putin. Nuclear war, Vladimir Putin is bad, so it is worth it. In the end, it's really not worth it, right? And Tucker brings up an interesting point with the refugee crisis and how this whole conflict is permanently reshaping Europe. And that is a big reason why I don't call for Russia to take all of Ukraine. That's never what I've said. What I've said is we need a reasonable peace treaty here, and we should try to pursue it overnight, immediately, that, you know, leaves both sides. No one's going to be fully happy. Ukraine's not going to be fully happy. Russia's not going to be fully happy. But at least a reasonable peace treaty that can put a stop to this bloodshed for that very reason, right? Because I actually do care about human life, both for Russians and Ukrainians. I don't like to see a bunch of European, primarily Christian people just shooting at each other and killing at each other. And frankly, no one should. But the liberals don't care about human life. In fact, they probably take solace in the fact that a bunch of, I don't know, Christian white people are shooting at each other, right? I mean, just saying, let's be real about that, right? So they're willing to throw as many Ukrainians at the line and Russians, right, in order to, we need to own Vladimir Putin. Who cares if it creates the biggest refugee crisis you've ever seen? Who cares if it kills off the populations of both of those countries? We need to fight till the very end over what inches of territory, and we need to pursue very unrealistic goals, you know, retake Crimea, all this stuff that's not going to happen. Just drag on this conflict, get as many people killed, reshape Europe as much as possible. And for what? And for what? I mean, it probably benefits the liberals and their ideology, but how does it benefit Europe? How does it benefit Ukraine, frankly? How does it, you know, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. And I think me and Tucker have the same position there. We want to put a stop to the bloodshed. That's what we really want, right? And the only reason the bloodshed is continuing is because we continue to arm Ukraine in the fight and insist, keep fighting, right? Keep killing off all your fighting age men in the name of fighting this war for us, right? As a matter of fact, you guys can look this up. The United States has actually actively stepped in and ordered Ukraine not to pursue peace negotiations, right? Biden doesn't want peace, and neither do the neocon Republicans in Congress. They don't want peace, right? I'm saying we need to step in and put an end to the bloodshed, an end to the conflict, because that'd be best for Europe. That'd be best for us too, because we stop sending all these tax dollars where they're not needed. It would genuinely be the best for Ukraine and for Russia, for that matter, right? We want to put a stop to the bloodshed. And Trump is the only Republican out there truly going out there and saying this. He's saying, day one, I'm going to end that fighting. I'm going to put a stop to it. We're going to settle peace, and we're going to do what I think we genuinely should do. That's the common sense, rational take. No other Republican is saying this. Most of the Republican field Actually, maybe Vivek Ramaswamy saying it, to be fair. But besides him, most of the Republican field is saying, we need to arm Ukraine even more. You know, Nikki Haley loves arming Ukraine. Tim Scott loves arming Ukraine. And even Ron DeSantis. He's been wishy-washy on it. Let's be real, right? He's gone out at some point and said it's not our interest, it's a regional conflict. And in other times, he said different things. The only person with a truly solidified position on this is Donald Trump. And there's Tucker Carlson praising him for it. And, you know, I think that was very good to see. So, yep, there's my kind of rundown of the Tucker interview as you guys saw. Be sure to go check out the full thing. I'm sure we'll be reacting to more of those clips tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, but in short, Tucker says he's here to stay on Twitter and he's never going to work for anyone else. Love to see it. No one else can muzzle him. No one else can ever mess with his life. He is Tucker, unfiltered, uncensored. We love to see it. And then secondly, yeah, I mean, Tucker has nice things to say about Donald Trump. And, you know, like I said, I don't think he's going to make a formal endorsement, but you know, I think you can see where he stands, and has high praises for Trump's foreign policy proposals, which I do as well, and very, very good take in my opinion on that Eastern European conflict. But yeah, okay, there's a Tucker Carlson interview. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys on the show tonight. Be sure to join us live Monday through Friday on the show at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And until next time, Alpha Moves only. God bless and peace. Hey guys, Vince Dao here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dao show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dao show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is a great show. Many are saying this. So leave a like, check out our other clips, and be sure to check out the show. God bless.